Today, we're going to be talking about gratitude as a way of life. And why phrase it like that? Because when you are grateful all the time about life in general, it changes how you perceive things and it makes you take things less for granted. Just changes everything. So, for me, being able to look at things in this way is different than how I used to. And it has made a huge difference for me. So when I get up in the morning, I think about the things that I'm grateful for because there's always something to be grateful for. Even when things are really hard, even when there are obstacles I haven't quite figured out how to get around, even when things are going on that makes me sad, there are still also other things that I am grateful for and that I can be grateful for. It gives you a different perspective on things because it helps you always see the opportunity and the gift in everything that comes your way. And so you live a life that's happier because gratitude leads to happiness. It just does. It's how it works. So, for example, and I know I shared some things with you guys that are in my group, but for one of the things is I was my grandmother's caretaker, or well, for a long time I was her caretaker, and then I was her co-caretaker when my mom came moved up. She had had a stroke, and she had need things. And here's let me just make it a short story short. My grandmother was like one of my best friends. Me and her, um, just we just loved each other, and we shared so much time and energy and everything together. And one of the things she wanted was to be able to die at home. She didn't want to die in a hospital. And I promised I would I would see to it that that happened, that she would be able to die at home and not in a hospital. I was grateful that, and when I said this, I was younger and I didn't have a place. But later, I got a house. I was able to buy a house. And so I was grateful that I had this house that I could offer her a place to be in where she could die at home. So when she moved up here with me, um, she lived downstairs and I lived upstairs. And I took, I came and cared for her and helped her with things and took her shopping and all the little things you do for somebody. And she had a stroke. And that last year after when she had the stroke, she needed help with everything. And so I did it. And I gave her all the care I could. And I played music with her. And we sung songs. And we did everything. And even though it was a really hard time, I was grateful to have the time with her because I was working for myself, because she was living downstairs from me. I could spend so much time with her. And I had the freedom to spend all that time with her. So I was grateful, even though I was sad that she was going through the things. And even though there was challenges and struggles around helping her with her day-to-day living, I was grateful because I had the time and the ability to be there with her. And the day she was passing, the day she was going to pass, she was struggling to breathe. I brought her to her favorite chair. We helped her get dressed. We got her in her favorite chair, and I sat there and I held her hand and I told her I loved her. And I contemplated because it was harder than I thought it would be. And I talked to my spiritual guide and I asked for help to get through it. And I was grateful because I had a spiritual guide that could help me through it. And I was grateful that I was able to be there with her at that moment. And I was grateful that I was able to hold her hand and speak words of encouragement to her and let her know that she was loved as she passed through. That even though she had to ultimately die alone, she didn't have to be alone while she was there, while she was going through it. I was there. And I held her hand and I told her I loved her. I saw her expression change from fear and struggle to one of smiling and love and joy. And I knew that on the other side, there were people waiting to greet her. I was grateful because I had that time. I was grateful because I knew that she was in good hands on the other side. And I was grateful because I could be there and that I was able to make her journey a little easier for her. Later on in the dream, I got confirmation of all of that, that it was easier for her, that she heard my prayers for her and that she heard me being there and holding her hand. I was just grateful because I lived gratefully, I found other opportunities to be grateful. Now, some people could have seen that all very differently. They could have not found the gratitude and the joy in that moment and only sadness. But there is always a way to be grateful. There's always a reason to be grateful because there's always something to be grateful for. And if you develop the habit of always finding that thing to be grateful for, you end up with a life of gratitude. You end up with a heart full of gratitude. You end up living gratitude as a way of life and of being. And it leads you in different paths and it puts you in different situations where you are opened to new opportunities and new situations and new ways of being in the world. And all of that is about just being grateful. I mean, it sounds hokey and we like to, say, I'm so grateful, I'm so happy, I'm so grateful, and have it be tongue in cheek, or just have it be we're only challenging ourselves to be grateful during Thanksgiving or during the month of Thanksgiving or during these different times when gratitude is traditionally accepted. But gratitude is always, always, always a good choice. Because every time you are grateful for something, you invite more of that into your life. You invite more of whatever you're grateful for to come in every time you show gratitude for it. It's just how things work, right? Like if you give someone a gift, you're giving it to them because you want to, because you want that person to have it. But when they say thank you feel some kind of way and you're willing to give them more, as opposed to when you give someone a gift and they never even acknowledge they got it. You're not as keen on giving them another gift, right? Even though it wasn't that you were consciously thinking, I'm going to give them this gift and they're going to say thank you. Because a lot of times you just do stuff because you want to. And that's a good thing. But when there is gratitude, you give more. And that's how the universe works too. The more grateful you are and the more you express that gratitude, the more comes into your life. Gratitude is a pathway for abundance and joy in every area of your life. So when you live gratitude as a way of life, you're also inviting abundance, joy, happiness, and love because they all travel together. So think about it. Gratitude is a way of life. It's how I'm living my life. And I couldn't be happier. That's what I got to say about it. I hope you found this helpful or useful. And I will see you on the other side. And if you're in the US, have a great Thanksgiving. And if you're somewhere else that doesn't practice Thanksgiving right now, Have a great day. All right. I love you all. I love you. I love you. And thank you for being here, whether it was live or on the replay. I always appreciate you. Take care. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.